That's what it is.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Employment Reckless. Tonight we are on episode number 16, 17,
17.
17.
17.
17.
I can't even. We are now on episode 17. If you're just now joining us, if you don't know, I'm Diamond. You have Ashley and you have Latoya here. So tonight we're going to talk about a great topic, something that people experience every day, no matter if you're young, middle age, or older. And tonight's topic is the difference between loving someone and being in love with someone. So I know we have all experienced loving someone and being in love. Now, if you haven't, then I don't know. That's kind of weird if you haven't. Well, I can't say it's weird,
You can't
but
say that's weird
yeah, I was
because,
gonna say it's not weird.
yeah, you definitely can't say that's weird.
Because a lot of people might think they're in love, but it could be lust, or it could be, just the idea of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
I don't even. So how do you know you're in love with a person?
Well, first we gotta talk about exactly what is what is
I was gonna
love.
say, how do you define love?
To me it is. There's no book. To me, there's no book definition of love. I honestly feel it
Right.
is each person's interpretation, because some people can say love to them feels like is a feeling they get butterflies when they see that person all the time, or
Mm-hmm.
love is of the person that makes them feel safe, makes them feel secure about themselves. So to me it depends on the person's interpretation who's saying it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. The
I
way I
agree.
define love, I feel like it's a very intense feeling of like affection. And if you guys know what affection is, it's like it's very affection is very serious and it feels very good. So that's how I kind of define love. But yeah,
Or
like
or get the
Latoya
pleasure
said,
out.
everybody has their own outlook on what they feel is love. You don't have to have an encyclopedia or a dictionary to define what you feel is, love.
What did you
Right.
say it was, Bria? I mean, Diamond?
I would say, could it be like the pleasure of something? Because like the pleasure you get from a person or something like that.
Definitely, because
Why does
people
Ashley
say,
have a big smile on her
because
face?
people say they love somebody's sex game, but they don't
I
love that
mean, I
person.
think that's more so. I think that's more so on like the intimacy side. I don't really feel like. I don't know. I always used to be like when it
Pleasure
came
could be
to.
anything. Pleasure could be anything to me, though.
I mean, like I said, everybody has their own output on what love is. So, ladies, both of you guys define love in 5 words.
Define love
Um,
in 5 words.
I would
Hmm.
say safe, protected, secure, um, romance, and God. Because to me, you can't have love without God.
Hmm.
I think that was five.
Hmm.
I would say, well, because I can't, I was going to say there can be, because you have told me this one time before, so I don't want to quote you wrong. You know how you can have an emotional attachment. So I was gonna say emotional or connection, um, romance, like Toya said,
Mhm.
compatibility, um, overwhelming, and safe. That would be my five.
Mhm. Really good. Mine is choices for us, not me.
What did
That's
you say?
good.
Choices for us, not me. Because and the reason I picked that one is because I can honestly say I used to be in a myself type of relationship, but I always used to think about me. But now I kind of convert, if I am in a relationship, I say things that's better for us, how to put us in position, not how can I get this, or, it's how can we get this. Your I turns to we, us, no longer I once you make that commitment to be in a relationship with somebody.
That was good. It was different.
Hmm. But, I always said when it comes to love, it's like it's a very dangerous game. And it's not even honestly a game. It's just
Definitely.
that people take love so out of context that it's so crazy. I literally had Latoya, can you mute your background for me? I hear my echo. I literally had a conversation. I think I was having it with you last night, Diamond, when I was just saying that people will look at you weird when you say things like "I love you," but like I was explaining to Diamond, why can't we just say "I love you" to anybody without it having to actually mean more? Because ultimately, I feel like God said to say "I love you" to your sisters, your neighbors, and things like that. I was saying to her, I said, would it be weird if I just walked out to somebody and I said, "Hey, I love you"? I don't know this person from Adam and Eve. Is that weird?
People would think that is
But why would it be weird?
because they're probably gonna be because people automatically assume because you're just walk randomly, walking up to them or saying things like that you gotta be weird. That's just like if a person come up to you like a a homeless person or a person that you don't know, and they may come and say to you, God bless you. You know what I'm saying? And some people don't even say it back when you say things like that to them. So they just may feel like it's very awkward.
Yeah, but I don't feel
I
like it's
think
awkward.
society ha- I think society has it to where, they make it weird. Um, I've never tried it, so I can't even
Because
say
people
it's
don't do
weird.
it. It's not
Yeah,
a trending.
it's not right. It's not a common thing, but it's like that's why I said to Diamond yesterday, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna test the theory out. I'm just gonna say it because ultimately I do love everybody. It's just remember what we said, like love is kind of an intense feeling of affection. So in theory, I do love everyone. I don't hate anybody. You know what I mean? I don't hate. So I do love everybody. So if I seen a random person and I say, you know what? I just want to tell you that I love you. There's nothing wrong with that because they may have not heard that before a day in their life.
Right.
So sometimes you may want to put that positive energy in the atmosphere. It doesn't matter what someone says to you or how they say it or things of that nature. That's not a problem. Hey, I love you. And they'll probably be like, oh my gosh, you really love, yeah, I love you. And it could go, and honestly, like Diamond said, it can really go both either way. Someone may take it out of context Some people may not, but no one knows because people don't think
Try
to.
it.
Yeah, to be like, oh, I'm gonna just say I love this person.
So it was on Instagram. It's like a little video. These people have signs.
Hmm.
Some be like, hug me or do something or take the money. So one of the signs said, call somebody in your phone right now and tell them you love them. So the first guy
Hmm.
did it. I don't know if it was his dad or not, but the other person on the phone kept saying, well, what's wrong? And the
Right.
person was like, nothing. I'm just calling to tell you I love you. He was like,
Hmm.
I love you too, but what's wrong? And he was like, nothing's
Right.
wrong. Like, I'm on my way to class. Probably because they don't,
Hmm.
they don't say it often.
Yep.
Growing up before we walked out of the house, we always
Automatically jump
told,
to and if you just go there and
Yeah.
say that
But that
because they got feel like something is going on
right.
extra.
But that's the thing though. If you never have had that growing up as a child, it's really awkward for people to say those things to you, especially growing up, which drives me to the next conversation, which is when it comes to love, a lot of people don't know how to love because they was either raised on survival mode or they were raised um on love. So it's either one or two. They was raised on in love, in a loving family, or they was raised on survival. So when you have those two different scenarios, the outcome is totally different because if you're saying I love you to a person that had to always survive, they're really not going to know how to accept it because they never knew how to love because all they knew was how to survive. But if you have it where you're
Mhm.
dealing with a person that actually had came from a family that showed love, like, oh my gosh, I love you, that's consistently said on a day-to-day basis, they're gonna know how to really love. You know what I mean?
yeah, growing
So,
Right.
up, we always said, I love you before we walked out the door,
mhm,
so it more so with my mom, and my sisters, and even now my auntie Ted, before we get off the phone, it's always, hey, I love you, my
mhm,
mom, and our sisters and too. So
yep. And it's really that's interesting because it's like even with that now, if you going back into our conversation about tonight about relationships, are you the difference between loving someone and being in love? Are you really a lot of people in relationships all the time? I've heard a lot of people say it where they are like, oh, I love this person, right? But I don't know how to love them because I don't even know how to love. I have heard people say that several times. Like they say they love a person, but they just don't know how to love.
Right.
And for me, to me, I'm just like, well, how do you even say you love that person if you don't know how to love?
because maybe
But I
they're
was gonna say some people can experience both love and survival, right?
You can experience both. I feel like you can. However, it's honestly very rare. It's very rare because some people they grow up in a lifestyle where they have the survival, but parents and family members and things like that are working so hard that they can't even show them what's love supposed to be. So they all they know is just, oh, I got money and I can survive. You see what I'm saying?
hmm
Mm-hmm.
So it's different things. I mean, truth of the matter
Yeah.
is, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you guys can go ahead. I already took the fireball and started talking, so I want to hear you guys' questions.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like you said, for survival, if a person just reiterate on what you said about a person saying, they can't love because they don't know how to. So majority of the time people do jump in relationships anyway, even though they don't know how to love themselves or
Hmm.
someone else. So that kind of makes the situation kind of hard on both parties end because it's like it's I'm not saying that you can't work through a lot of things. However, what do you feel like the most challenging part about that would be?
Hmm. Well, I always say in a relationship, it's honestly it's always easy in the beginning to give a relationship all you have. It's always easy to be, because if you think about it, that's like the beginning stages, you're head over heels over that person. So it's always easier in the beginning. But what a lot of people fail to realize is when you get past that stage, it's about how you maintain and keep that relationship up. So if you can't maintain and keep a relationship up beyond the those that basically that honeymoon stage, it's never gonna work. It's never gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the most challenging part is still maintaining how things were in the beginning. Because if you realize in the beginning, at the start of your relationship, everything is there. You got the infatuation, you happy, you feeling good. Y'all having sex like 24/7. It's just that everything is so A1 in the beginning. But then as you guys start to settle in and stuff start to, settle down, things start to change, which is like, timing and things of that nature. Y'all time schedules may conflict. Y'all may have little disagreements here and there. It may, y'all may have kids and things like that involved. So things start to change. So when those things happen, a lot of people tend to be like, oh, well, you know what? I'm getting out of this relationship because things have changed. But people don't realize you're right. Things have changed. Look at where you're at now. Look at all these different things that have come into place into this relationship. So yeah, things are gonna change. So that's why I say everybody looks at the beginning part, but they don't really know how to maintain that relationship throughout the duration. Like really fight for what they really want. So that's why I found a lot of people are either falling out of love because the things that they thought was gonna be every
Hmm.
day has now changed. So when any shift change comes into anything in your life, you get discouraged easily. So that's the issue why a lot of people I feel like why a lot of people fall out of love because they don't want to work to maintain what they have. They just want everything to be like it was in the beginning.
Right, definitely. I was going to ask that
Mm-hmm.
question. Do you believe that people fall out of love, or is it that they, because some people be like, well, how do you fall out of love if you were in love with that person? Or do they just outgrow that person?
I feel like it can happen with both. You can outgrow the person and you really can fall out of love depending on the circumstances. Like, I mean, again, if you realize what is the main thing that someone says that's in a relationship, they be like, you know what? I don't, you're not giving me time. So then what happens? They find
They
somebody
cheat.
else that gives them that time. And now that they give them that time, they're now bored with that person at home because now someone else is fulfilling
Hmm.
that beginning stage again. Instead of them really just tuning in and fixing what they have at whatever at home, they just go to the next highest peak. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you know what? She's not giving me what I want anymore. So let me go ahead and do these type of things. So I do feel like you can fall out of love, and I do feel like you can outgrow people. You know what I mean? Like, and the outgrowing part is definitely is true because if you
Yeah.
are elevating, right, and you have a partner and you're putting them in position, and while you're putting them in a position, they don't want to elevate with you. We now have a problem. There's a difference if we are elevating
Right.
together. If I'm reaching my hand back to you and I'm like, hey, you know what? Come on, let's do the damn thing together. That's a difference. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we'll grow together. But if I'm showing you the ropes and I'm showing you things and I'm trying to teach you and still and you just like, okay, I'm hearing you, but you're not really like
Applying.
understanding or applying what I'm telling you. It's like, yeah, you can't outgrow it because at this point in time, you're becoming stagnant. You don't want to prevail. You want to still stay in the same situation that you was in
Mm-hmm.
10 years ago, and you can't do that in a relationship. In a relationships, you have to grow together. You know what I mean? You do have to grow together. But if that person is not growing with you, then that maybe, y'all did
Gotta
outgrow
let
each
them
other, and
go.
you entitled to outgrow people. People feel like it's a
Right.
crime when you're like, oh my gosh, I've been with this person for 20 years, I can't leave them. No, you can't leave them, because that's all you know, and that's your safety net, and you never have performed anything else for yourself. So now you feel like you can't leave this person.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I mean, like that, like I said, this um it's different. I mean, being that I've been in the situation, I understand. I understand love. I mean, I have had my share of partners, and I have either been in love with them, or I just love them. I know when I was in love, and I know when it was just something to like, oh, okay, you know what? I just feel good for the moment. It's just a feeling that you get.
Right.
You know,
You
you
know.
you know when you really in love,
Yeah.
because you feel full. I feel like you feel full when you in
Yeah, you're
love.
just so in tune with that person.
Right.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say everything is great because even being in love, you still probably have, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, disagreements and stuff like that. But it's just,
Right.
being in tune with that, person and stuff. Like,
Yep.
for example, um, Lauren London always said Nip was her soulmate. Like,
Yeah.
to me, that's a whole different level of just being in love with somebody. She felt protected,
Mm-hmm.
covered. Like, this man prayed for her before they went outside. Like, that's just beyond anything that could ever be love to me.
Right. Right. And and I also say,
Yeah.
when you in love, when it could be things like it's as much as you said we say it's clingy, but it could be things like when you leave the house, you like be ready to get back to that person. You know what I mean? You like, oh my gosh, like I could spend
Yeah.
amounts of time and hours on the phone with you. I could be up under you 24/7. I don't get tired of you. We have a good vibe every time that we out. It's just that those little things that that you're in love with a person, because if you wasn't in love with a person, you trust me, you wouldn't be doing those things. You would be so annoyed. You'd be like, I don't want to be bothered. Like, no.
Yeah. When that person gets sick, you get sick too. Like
Hmm.
just all little type of stuff. You'll know.
Yeah.
It's
They
I
study
feel like
shows
it's
that
one of the best
study
feelings
shows that when
ever.
you're around those people, the person that you love, it tends to increase. I always say dopamine, and also the other word is it increases neuropinephrine.
What was the last one?
Huh?
What was the last one you said? I know you
It's
said
called
dopamine. What was the other one?
norepinephrine. So it's spelled Noreph. I think it's I don't know, Phine.
And what exactly is that one?
It's up the line with dopamine. But these are like the dopamine is also your feel good hormones. So norepinephrine is a feel good hormone as well.
Never heard of that one.
Hmm. So yeah, it's
Sorry,
it's,
guys.
it's definitely like I said, they say, what do they say? Love is really a drug. It really
Yeah,
is.
because it's an
Yes,
addiction.
yes.
It's an
It's an
addiction.
addiction.
And they say that addiction for love is up there with the thing of cocaine. That's how
You
serious they
get
say
that
it is.
first hit, and you be
Yeah.
trying to chase it and chase it to get
Mm-hmm.
that high that you felt the first time you ever
Yep.
got high. Like, love makes people do crazy things outside of their mind. You see these shows, channel
Mm-hmm.
ID and snapped and stuff, got
Yep.
people going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But and that's the
exactly.
thing though. I always say to people, like, if you don't want to be with that person,
Tell them.
just tell them. I used to never do. I never used to do things like that. I'll play a game. I used to play a game, and I used to be telling myself like, it's a really dangerous game, because people are crazy, and you don't know how they are going to
Gonna
react.
react.
So you got to be a little bit cognizant on what you're doing and how you playing your game. It's like if you really know that you don't want to be with that
Mm-hmm.
person, just tell them like, "Oh, I don't want to, I don't want to be with you." Even though it's hard
Right.
pill to swallow, and honestly, even you're not safe if you tell them that because they could kill you. You
I'm
don't know.
I'd rather my feelings be hurt from
Yeah,
you telling me that instead of you playing with my feelings. Because now when you play with my feelings, you don't cross the line because now my brain is going to the left.
yeah,
So
but and see that's people that have that type of mindset. But you might got others that either way it goes. If I tell you that I don't want to be with you, you tell me that you
Yeah.
ain't been with nobody else but me, and they try to
that's
kill you.
that crazy love, right?
Right.
There's a lot of people out there
But
like that. If I can have
like
you,
you
no
said,
one else
sometimes
can.
people are just some people are just comfortable and want to have their cake and eat it too, and they just feel like they'll never get caught, or I can have this person that I really am in love with and want to be with, and I have this other person that is a great person and has you know other elements in them, far as it may be, stability or something, and they just don't want to let them go because other other things. Or it could
That's
be,
really
they just don't
selfish.
want to hurt that person' feelings, or
Mm.
something
But
like
the
that.
thing is, though, what people don't realize is you can honestly have your cake and eat it too. Because at the end of the day, you don't know who you're dealing with. It may say yeah to whatever cake you're trying to have. So people
Mm-hmm.
don't understand that you can have your cake and eat it too. It just depends on what
Be
person you're
honest.
dealing with, right? That person may say, you know what? I know you want to be involved in the polygamy relationship or whatever. Let's try it out. Okay, great. Then now y'all are on the same page, so you don't have to sneak anymore. Then again, you might have some people that's just rebellious against that, where they're just like, no, I'm not playing that game. It's either you here, or you
Are
one
you
foot
not?
in, you here, or you not. You know what I mean? And honestly, that's what a real man or real woman's gonna say. They're not gonna sit here and be like, okay, you can talk to Tina, Jim, and all these other people. No, it's either you gonna be here with me or you're not. And furthermore, a person that understands their worth and values their worth, they're never gonna put themselves in that situation. They're gonna be like, I'm gone, like I'm leaving. It's no point for us to even be in this relationship because you're obviously telling me that what I'm offering you, you
It's
don't
not
want.
enough.
It's right, it's not enough. So now I gotta go about my business.
Absolutely.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So for you guys, what do you feel like is a how would you say when it comes to love, how can a man or woman win you guys over?
I would just
Uh,
say be
for me,
themselves. Be themselves. Be honest about what you want. And I know a lot of. I always say treat people how you want to be treated. I'm not too materialistic on things, but I do like, things. But to me, the small things count. Like, I mean, the small things matter. Study me. If you know I like to read, come on with a book or something for me, or flowers. Or if everybody in the world know my favorite food is tacos, and if you know a great Mexican spot, or you come home, fix me tacos, run my bath water. Like, I'm very so much a romantic person that I love to be romantic to my partner, and I would just hope for the same in return. So I always try to treat the person that I'm with like how I would want to be treated.
Hmm.
for me, it would be um patience, being able to express myself without being, judged or whatever. Because you like,
That's a big
no,
one.
nobody is perfect, and people are gonna may say the stupidest things at time or whatever. You know what I mean? May have dingy moments or whatever. Little things like that. So yeah, patience, being able to be vulnerable,
Hmm.
communication, um, being able to know that you can feel safe with that person, and for me, because I have children, you have to
Hmm.
love kids.
Right now that I have a son, He's
Yeah,
a
and like
factor
Toy said,
always.
the small thing, the small things, the small things is what matters because like I'm not materialistic either. So I'm very creative, very creative as well. So even if it's every night, if you just running my bath water and picking my clothes out, or when I wake up in the morning you putting toothpaste on my toothbrush, it's just the little stuff that matters the most as well.
Hmm. Interesting.
You?
You got to have that bag. No, I'm just like. No, I'm just playing.
Oh, I got one. I got one more. I
You
forgot
you
one. I
late.
forgot
You
one.
you late.
I
You
forgot.
had your
I forgot
time.
one.
You had your time.
No,
Go ahead.
I was going to say also being being able to not not telling you what to do, but someone that can be able to teach you along the way because we all have a lot of learning to do. So someone that doesn't mind teaching you along the way. That was what I was going to say.
Hmm. Yeah, but that's good. I mean, for me, it's really simple. Like I do for my own self, so I really don't ask for a lot. I mean, I may ask for
Oh,
something
that ain't
random
what you
like
asked me. That's not
some shoes or something like that. But more 9 times out of 10, if I'm asking for something, I'm most likely going to already get it in my head, in the back of my head, because I already had it planned out. But for me, I just say consistent, consistent, consistent. Consistency is a plus for me. Like
Hmm.
I tell people all the time, words lie, actions lie, patterns don't. Just be consistent in your patterns. You know what I mean? Like that's it. Honest. I don't really like lies. Like if you tell a little white lie, like okay, we all know that people you gonna tell a lie. It doesn't matter. Every day somebody's telling a lie. But if you telling and lying about some crazy stuff, like I can't. I don't want no parts with that. Like I feel like why are you lying to me? Like I don't. I don't. I just don't get it. I mean, I have met people before in the past where they just be like they lied to me, and I'm like, I don't even know you from a can of worms. Why are you feeling the need to lie to me? Like I always say, if you got to lie to a person, that
You're
person has a
scared.
power or control over you, right? So I just feel like no, you shouldn't be lying. Like I said, it's I guess because I sometimes do like, and sometimes in the dominant role, I really don't really ask, be wanting anything. I don't know, just consistency, time. When I ask for time, it's not something that I really ask for. I really don't ask for a lot of time. But when I want it, I definitely want my time. Like, I mean, shut everything down. Whatever you do in the middle of it, like, you got to shut it down when I want my time. Um, just like, and then, like, being very sporadic. I don't like a person that I can just know your every move. If I
Mm.
know what you're about to do, that's so frustrating to me. Like I already know what you're gonna do. Like just be sporadic. Um, Also be your authentic self. Like I can't not stand a person that's trying to be something that they're not. I don't like people that I always tell people I'm not the person that goes with traffic. I go the opposite way. I'm different. I'm not. That's me. So just honestly, just be yourself. I feel like you attract more people when you are your genuine self. And when you aren't your genuine self, you attract the ones that's not meant for you. So just be yourself and be honest. But that would be my top ones for me. You know.
Hmm, that was good. I liked all you guys' feedback on that question.
Mm. What's a
So,
what's an ideal relationship?
I don't think there is one.
You don't
I
think it
I,
is?
I feel like
there is.
I feel like when you make it, when you in your head say this is what I want, it blocks the to me it blocks like what you're looking for. I guess like you said a standard, but you would never but you're so stuck on finding those standards or that ideal relationship, you might miss somebody that is the right person for you.
He's the right person for you. I love that. Yep, say it again. That was the answer, but I just wanted to see what the feedback was going to be. That is the top answer, actually. I love that. Yep. And that drives me to what I was going to say
What did
about.
she say? I couldn't hear what she said. What did she say?
She said,
There's no ideal relationship because it's like you put standards for somebody or something that you're looking for in that relationship, and you're so busy focusing on those things, looking into finding those things that you want in the relationship to make it whatever idol in your head, that you might miss out on a person that is really good for you.
right. And
Okay.
we know people that always may be specific. Oh, I gotta have a person with a low haircut. I might gotta have a person with a nice booty. I might have to have a person with a 700 credit score. I might gotta have a person that makes six figures. All these things that you just said is materialistic and physicality. Like those things may be completely opposite of what that you find. I'm not saying that the person got to be broke. And we had this conversation on our other show a couple of weeks back, but it's just I'm just saying like sometimes your standards can be so set high that you can really be missing out the love of your life because your standards are set so high. Because truth of the matter, if you really like somebody, you come to like that person, you guys can build into whatever it is y'all trying to get to. If they don't have it right then, hey, y'all can get to it. Y'all can. If it's worth it and that's the person you want to be with, you guys can be able to get to those things.
Right. I was just gonna my answer was gonna be to you said what is the ideal relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Um I was just gonna say that, when you at least not looking for it, and someone comes along the way that's maybe ideally the opposite of you, and you just maybe vibing with that person, and they just come out of nowhere not knowing or thinking that this may be the person for you, and then all of a sudden, basically, just like what Toya said, I feel like it's when you least expect it, and that person comes along the way, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever happens happens.
I can honestly say I probably done passed up a lot of people because I was stuck on stupid.
And you don't, and then yeah, with you, I don't feel like you put yourself out there. You know, I'm not saying you
I
gotta go
don't.
talk to everybody. Yeah,
I
you don't
don't.
like to talk to people.
I
She
don't.
doesn't like to talk to people.
But you know what? It's crazy though because when I go out, people don't talk to me. A lot of people say, well, I'm not gonna say people. A couple of guys told me, like they say I look aggressive. In my head, I'll be like, how do I look aggressive? I be thinking I'm having fun, like But a lot of people don't talk to me. But then again, if they did, I might get their number. But I don't. I don't know. I don't like talking to. I don't know. I'm not gonna say I don't like talking to people, but our conversations have to be something. And then if we're conversing and automatically it's like, oh, I'm trying to smash and all that gets cut off. There's no text back after that. I don't deal with that because 2 days into texting or calling, you already asking to smash. I see where your head's at. So there's no need to take this further.
Oh, well, what is smashing?
Sex. They want to
Oh,
hit it
okay.
and quit it. So that gets out of here. That's out the window. No, we're not. I was texting someone
Well, I don't
and
talk to people either, so
I
I
was
don't talk to
I was
people
texting
either.
someone and all the text
I just
messages
see
were, "Hey, you
Monday
want to
night
hang
and
out,
on the phone.
watch movies, get drunk?" No, because that's your slick way of saying you trying to have sex after. Because who just wants to sit up and watch movie and have and drink? Not me. No.
No, we can't. I disagree. I plead the fifth on that one
Every,
because
every
you can't.
there's no hey, you want to go out to eat, you want to go out to the park or something. Every text message of hanging out was, "Hey, can I come past? We can watch movies and drink, or you can come to my house and movie." No, you don't ask me to do nothing else but drink and watch movies. If that's not what your intentions was to have sex, well, that's what it's making it seem like. So I cut that dead.
Mm. Mm.
Mm-mm-mm. Well, like I was saying, I don't go out. I don't talk to people either. I just be chilling. And then if people do talk to me, I just automatically have the stank look on my face, like I'm not interested. Like I'm
I
good.
might need to start talking to people. I'll be 40 with Saint and a dog. Okay.
And then people, why you so mean? I'm not mean. I'm just good. I don't want to talk.
It's just nowadays a lot of things are different with relationships.
Yeah, you
You
don't.
know,
To me, it makes it seem like everybody has an agenda. Like,
yeah,
and that
everybody.
blocks
I feel
me.
like I'm not gonna say everybody has a hidden agenda, but it's just things that happen nowadays that is just not. You're like, I don't even want to date in this era anymore.
Hmm.
It's so different in this era. It's like someone people loosely use "I love you" so loosely without really meaning it. That's the
Right.
issue. You know what I mean? Like, how could you? That's why I always say, how could you waken a woman's heart or a man's heart knowing that you never had no intentions to really love that person the way they need to be loved? I don't
I
understand.
question it every day. I question it every day.
I just, I really don't. I really don't. And then it's crazy because when either you are in a relationship with the person and then you end up leaving that person and that person does end up finding someone for them, their ex always been like, the first thing that they say is what? Oh, she not even cute. Oh, he looks this way. But people don't understand that
That's not even.
an
It's
upgrade
true.
is not about what you look like. It's about how you
Right.
treat me, how you respect me, how you love me, and all those different things. It's not
Hmm.
about how you look. Wifey material, husband material is no longer physicality, it's mentality. Like, it's that
It
simple.
has to be.
It has to be. It has to be because you're now, if you're trying to date someone just because of how they look, you on the wrong end of the stick. You on the wrong end of the stick.
So, what is unconditional love to you guys?
You know what?
You
That's a thin line because some people it's a thin line. I feel like unconditional love is when you love somebody, regardless of their flaws,
mhm.
um, mistakes that they have made, and you feel like you can get, you know, through those issues. But that could be like a blurred line between, some people use that to be like, oh, well, you said you love me unconditionally, so you'll stay here. I,
Mhm.
I don't know. But then again, it's like I feel like there's different kind, because unconditional, I love my mom. I love saying I love unconditional. Like, there's no limits to
Mhm.
how I love him, and what I will do for him.
Mhm.
So, if you had so let's say, for instance, if you had, let's just say, you were dating someone and you had an ex, right? And you guys break up and you guys or whatever, and you know that you did have love for this person, but you still love them and care about them, and you guys may communicate on an everyday basis or whatever, and you guys get in an altercation or something, and the person bashes you or something like that, would you still consider that unconditional love?
You said the person does what to you? You guys get in an altercation?
Yeah, you guys get in an altercation and you guys stop talking and things like that, but the person says that they love you. Do you consider that unconditional?
No, I to me, I don't see how you can say you love somebody and is okay and are is okay with hurting them, whether it's physical or mentally abuse. I You can't tell me you love me and then on the same end trying to beat my butt or talk down to me. So to me, no, those two don't go hand in hand.
Well, some people don't know how to love. If they was never taught how to love, how do you expect for them to love you the right way? If they was raised around getting beat and seeing their mother or parent do these things, that's what they know. It doesn't make it right, but they really need some help. So before you, and I can't say before you get in a relationship because sometimes you don't see these aspects of an individual until it's later
Right.
down the line. So when you start to see these traits, then it's either time that you know if you really love that person unconditional, hey, let's go and get some help. Now, once we go and get some help, if that doesn't seem to, mitigate any of those issues that y'all been having, then we got a serious problem. That means that you either got to decide if you want to still keep getting your head knocked in or leave. So you choosing what you want to do at that point.
But what kills me is when people say, "Oh my God, I love you. I want to be with you," but then when things get chaotic in the relationship, they don't they don't be voiceful, and they just be done with it, and they don't fight for what they want. They just let it go. So I feel like, how can you say
Mm.
you love me unconditionally and you can't even fight or be vocal about the things that you want? But then when you
Because the love
but
is
what
there with conditions.
but when you communicate with the person, they say, "Oh, I do love you. I do want to be with you. However, I'm just not going to do that because that's not them, because they may be stubborn, or they just not in the line of chasing or kissing ass."
That's loving you with conditions, and I
I
stay away
can't do
from people
that.
like that. And it's honestly like the it's like the situation like what happened with Daria and the Mad Black Woman. Her that like the other lady loved him with conditions. The other lady loved him unconditional because after he did everything to her, like he shitted on her, he had another woman, he moved that lady wardrobe in, all those different aspects, and she still was there with him when he got shot and could not walk or anything no more. That's loving a person with no
Mm-hmm.
conditions, and that's what I would say is my conditions. Like, hey, regardless, if you say you love me, if I get sick, I expect you to be right there by my side. If something transpires and with me, I expect for you to still be there. If I'm not here on this earth anymore, like those types of things, it goes beyond just you being on this earth. It goes beyond like after as well. You know what I mean? So it goes it's if you're gonna love someone, it's and you truly love that person, it's no conditions. Like no, like but it also just like I said, I don't want you guys to misconstrue this. It also just really depends on the situation. If you have a person that really has a drinking problem or things like that, you got to go and get that person help. If you try to get that person help and they don't want help, you have to eventually go and do what's best for you because your mental is going to deplete because you're trying to get a person in a better position, but they're killing you in the meantime while they're doing it. So you can't do that. You can't do that. So I do believe in the loving conditions, but I do believe that there's some level of um some level of where you're like, hey, I have to cut this off because of certain things.
Okay, use the movie Acrimony as an example,
Well, in that
because
situation,
she did stick with him through thick and thin. She did stay with him through thick and thin, but she, of course,
yeah,
she had
but
people
she
in her
but she
ear.
also said she also this goes back to what we say about family. She also had her family in her ear, and then she decided to want to
Right.
listen to every family member that was involved. And with every family that's involved, they told her to leave him alone. She didn't want to do that. By the time, that was all she knew, and that was her family. She was in a really vulnerable spot. So she did listen to her family. And then guess what? What did Robert do? Robert went to go and date and find it didn't even happen that easily, but the Diana lady just picked up some of the pieces that he was missing, and he kind of he fell in love with her because of those types of things. So in that situation, it just was like an unfortunate situation because of the certain events, because Now your family done said this about it, but he said to her, I still love you. He still even made sure that she was good. He gave her a $10 million check. He said, I'm paying your mother house back. He still loved her unconditional and provided what he needed to provide. She just couldn't get it past in her head that, okay, this is what has happened because your family members got involved, and now it kind of rubbed off on you. And now you're stuck and you don't have the man of your that you wanted to marry because now he has moved on. But he still held his word for what he said in the beginning. That's the one thing that I can respect about him. He did not shortchange her. He might have used all her money, but he made sure that he gave the house back and he paid her plus more of everything that she went through.
Right. So do you feel like because even though he did that, do you feel like because everything that he was supposed to do for her, as far as in the relationship, he did for someone else, that is what affected her the most?
That is what affected her most because, truth of the matter, no one wants to ever see that ever, especially when it's someone that you love. You don't want to see someone that you love do these things for other people. But however, in reality, that's sometimes the things you got to go through. I mean, you don't. It's not like life like this is like really decked out in front of you where you know that these things were going to happen. Nobody knew those events were going to happen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's that's just the cards that was dealt to her, and she had to accept the consequences and situation. Her sisters told her that, so now she had to deal with it. Now, as a man, like I said, he did what he needed to do and made sure that she was good. I mean, so let me ask, so was his visions and dreams and things that he wanted to do be placed on hold because now another woman is in the picture? No. If
No,
I
I
if
don't
I,
think so.
if I said, and it's crazy because someone has said that, you know what, I know that when it comes to you wanting to have another child, you're probably going to do that continuously to whatever partner you have because that's something that you want to do. And I'm like, in my statement, that is true, but it only has to depend on who that specific person is. So it's like that's something I always want to do. So that's what I'm going to have done. You know what I mean? So yeah, my dream doesn't stop because I stopped messing with a specific person or so. That's not going to stop. You see what I'm saying? It's not going to stop.
Mm-hmm.
It only stops on gauging who I feel like, of course you can't just do that with any and everybody. Of course you got to gauge that. But if the person is fitting to do what you want, like in what you have asked of others, and so it just maybe didn't happen because of whatever, then yeah, I
Right.
feel like it should be done. Why should you change up how things are? That's like, for example, I love cars and I always say, oh, I'm gonna get this type of car. I'm not gonna stop because I said I was gonna get this car with this person. No, I'm gonna get the car that I said I was gonna get.
Right.
Well, I feel like that's like getting married. Like you may say, "Oh, I don't want to get married again," and you don't get married again. But then, you know, you may find somebody and you do want to marry. I don't know. Like you said, it just all depends. It just all depends on the person. Like
Right.
that term you say all the time. People change for who they want to change for. Or they change for the better and things like that.
Yeah, people definitely change for what they want to change, and I see that all the
Mhm.
time. It just take. I mean, everybody is unique. Everybody is unique. You know what I mean? So ultimately, it's just what it is. Everybody's gonna bring something to the table differently.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It was something. It was something me and we were discussing um earlier today. We were kind of having a little debate about it, and it was about you said, I guess you were joking. You said, you never had been in love before. And then you said, well, I can't remember exactly what you said, but and I had asked you a question. I can't really think about what did I can't think about what I asked you. And he was like, that's gonna be our topic. It was something that we were talking about, and I asked you, I said, well, what is the difference between I gotta think about it. I gotta think about it. Maybe I'll catch it before we go off. Um
Mhm.
I don't.
But that's the thing though. You really, I mean, it's so crazy because a person could be doing everything that you would feel like is conditional love because they're so conformed to what the situation is, that while you thinking that they're in love with you, it's not really love. They're just conditioned to how you do things. You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't mean that they're in love with you just because they're doing everything ABC. Doesn't mean that they're in love with you. They could be just doing those things just because of how they're conditioned around you and how long they've been so content and comfortable. So that's
Right.
what a lot of people have to learn to discern, like, okay, is this really love? Because like I said, in that really, oh, I'm in love, you're gonna always gonna be around that person. Like it's gonna be, you're gonna feel it. But that situation where it's just like, you know what, I'm just in it, you gonna know the difference. You're gonna
Mm-hmm.
you gonna feel it.
Oh, I think I remember it. So we were having a conversation, and you said, if somebody asked you, what would you be in love with that? What would you be in love? What would you love with that person? Why are you in love with that person? And then I said, well, what if you don't know? What if it's just, you know, the emotional or connection attachment? What if it's just an emotional attachment or connection attachment? But you never answered the question because we're going to talk about it today.
You said emotional attachment or what?
The emotional, the emotional or the connection part of it.
So
It's like you
you
say,
got so
you
I always say you always want to be, you don't want to be the attachment. You want to be the connection. So when you plug up something in the wall, you want to be the one
Yeah,
that
guys are
gives the power
connected.
to that person, not the attachment that's the attachment accessory because they fall off any time and go. You
Mm-hmm.
always want to be that connection. So you're never gonna know if it's just a emotional attachment or emotional connection. You honestly, I feel like I said, when you know that you're in love with somebody, you're gonna know that you are emotionally connected to them and not just attached. You're gonna know it's a feeling. Like you're gonna feel it. And you know how I'm like explaining it to you guys right now? That's the feeling that I can't describe. It's a feeling that I can't describe that I know
Mm-hmm.
feels good. You know what I mean? That's what it is. It's like, oh, I know that this is a feeling that is just undescribable. It's like I feel like I get butterflies, every time that I'm around them, my energy gets peaked up higher. Certain things are like that.
mm-hmm.
But the thing is, though, you gotta still discern whether or not if it's just a phase. Because think about that. If you really think about it, you'll know because a lot of that stuff phases out when you get in a relationship at the beginning. You don't feel like
Mm-hmm.
that after like a month or 2 months later. You're just like, it was just infatuation. It was just sex.
Mm-hmm.
It was just this. Oh, you're gonna feel that because once y'all start having sex and really getting into each other, you start to be like, is this what I really want to be doing for the rest of my life? Is this who I want to marry? Is this who, you'll start to ask yourself those questions.
Yeah, but they say
Definitely.
allegedly they say the first in a relationship the first 5 years are good or the first 5 years is bad. Do y'all believe in that?
It
Well,
can be
I always
bad
say,
in 2 weeks. It can be bad in 1 year.
yeah.
Hey,
The way things go now, I feel like it can be bad anytime. But truth of the matter, I feel like it honestly takes 3 to 5 years to really know a person. That's how I feel. I honestly feel that way. It
and
takes
probably
three
even
to
longer.
5 years, probably even longer nowadays. Probably 10 years.
Shit,
And then,
you might not never know the person.
and
The way,
right, I'm about to say, listen, that's not even safe because you can know that person for 10 years and they on a different side of the world and y'all get to know you be like, oh, they seem so cool, and then you like, I known them for 10 years, and then how many times y'all seen a relationship go bad because they see that person for 10 plus years, right? And then something happens, like they either get killed or something like that because they didn't really know that person.
Yeah.
People change. People
mm-hmm.
change. So it's like, you know. I don't know. In essence, and just really to kind of sum up the conversation, you are controlling your own life. You have to know what it is that you're feeling. Is it, you got to know the difference between loving someone and being in love with them. Trust me, you guys are going to know. You're going to know. And if you don't know,
Better
it's
figure it
no
out.
books, it's no internet that's going to help you figure out how you in love with that person. It's a feeling. You have a feeling about that person, and that feeling feels good, then okay. But after time, as times goes past, you really just gotta reevaluate yourself and see if that's honestly truly where you want to be at.
Definitely,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. I just always say take your time with love. Never rush into anything. And just, be open and honest, one with yourself about how you feel about a
Mhm.
person and with that person.
Absolutely, 100%, 100%, hundred
Yeah, well,
percent.
let me shout out to the person in my life that may come and tune in and listen to it and say, you know, every relationship has their moments, Of course, nobody's perfect, but this individual is damn near perfect. And through everything, she's amazing, she's headstrong, and how people say, you can't live without out a person, and I just feel like that's one person that I can't live without. Like, they're my soulmate. I love them to death, and you know, even it's real. Like, I'll take a whole charge for this person. So if
Damn.
you're listening, if you're listening, like, you know what's up. I ain't gotta say too much. Like, you know
Well, if
what's up.
anybody's out there listening for me, hey, I love you, baby. I love you.
Hold me down.
You is funny.
I ain't got
Hold
a
me
special
down, baby.
someone.
POP. No, but you listen, guys. You heard the ladies. You heard what they said. Listen, I'm definitely off markets, but I can get some great advice. I'm off markets. I'm not even I'm not in the industry anymore.
No.
I'm not in the industry anymore. Off markets, but for anybody that is looking, just keep on looking. Don't give. Don't. I want to tell you guys, and I'm gonna leave you guys with
I
this.
wouldn't even say
So,
look. Don't look. I
Don't.
wouldn't say don't look.
so that's all I was gonna say is don't go looking for love. Love will come when it's time for it to come. A lot of times people put themselves in positions by going to go and throw themselves out there to a person, and no, just let love naturally come. There's so many fishes in the sea that are ready to mate and be along with you. So just don't rush it. Don't rush the process. You know what I mean? Just don't rush it. It's someone.
Mm-hmm.
It's some. I always say it's somebody for everybody, no matter the circumstances. It's somebody for everybody. So you guys just stay positive, and one of the biggest things I always say is don't give up on love because someone didn't know how to love you. Just keep on giving that love that you are giving out.
Yep.
Continue to be you. Be your authentic self. Don't let nobody change who you are because they have changed or they are not who they say they are. Continue being you because trust me, that love that you're putting out there in the universe is definitely going to come back to you guys.
Somebody gonna catch it.
Exactly. So, you know what, guys? We want to go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks for allowing us to, speak with you about this conversation tonight. Tonight was episode 17. Again, as we always say, our handles is on IG empowerment underscore reckless podcast. And we have a website, which is the email just is info at Empowerment Reckless Podcast, and you can also send any topics or anything like that. And also, you know what I'm saying? Always share this out with 10 people, 10 plus people. It doesn't hurt to click, like, subscribe. Definitely share it. We appreciate the love and support. But with that being said, we are out of here for tonight, and you guys have a great,
And we love
great
you.
night. Yep, we do love you. We love you. We love you. You guys have a great night.
Good night.